For as long as I can remember, people have been saying things to me like, be realistic, get your head out of the clouds, and my personal favorite, stop dreaming and be real. And here's the thing about that. I can be an adult, I can have an adult job and pay my bills and do all those things, but adulting is hard. And it's not that fun, and it's not always interesting, and it's not always rewarding, and it's not always comfortable. And as a creative person, and it's taken me a while to accept that I am a creative person, the place I'm most comfortable is in my own head with my dreams. So when I published my debut novel, The Hunted, I started my own publishing company, mostly just to protect myself. And if you have a copy of the book, you'll see on the back there's a little logo, and that is for my publishing company, which I've called In the Clouds Publishing. And I have done that as a direct defiance to people saying, get your head out of the clouds. I'm sure, like many of you, the people most frequently telling you to be realistic and get your head out of the clouds are your parents. And oddly enough, my mother has been quite supportive of me publishing a book. I got no idea if my dad even knows that it's happened. I mean, it's not like I sat him down and showed it to him. I suspect he doesn't know. But also my brother, I was fully expecting him to, just take the piss in some way, because that's what siblings do. But he kind of shrugged and went, well, this is, you've always written and you've always been a good writer, so why would I be surprised about that? So to me, it's really interesting that the narrative has kind of changed as I've gotten older, that they're not telling me to be realistic anymore, in that I can't chase my dreams like publishing a book, but I'm still very firmly receiving the message that I shouldn't expect anything to come of it, and I should not quit my day job and all of these sorts of things. So I thought it would be a really interesting conversation to have about the importance of dreaming and the importance of failure. I never thought of myself as a creative person, and I think that's because of the way I was raised. I thought that if you had a life of art, a life of creativity, that there was something less grown up about it, that there was something flighty about it, that you were less sure of yourself, and just that it was something people did that I didn't relate to. And the older I've gotten, the more I've realized that that's actually where my bliss is in creative endeavors. I never wanted to admit that I was writing a book or that I was writing a series, because I thought people would obviously judge me the way I had judged other artists and creative people in the past. And I also thought, like, what if it sucks? What if people hate it? And what if nobody buys it? And I pretty much guaranteed that with the way I released it. But there is also another side of that where I'm getting smashed by work at the moment, and also that I have a very strong feeling that I need to have 2 books at least out there before I really start to push the marketing. But it was quite a long time before I admitted that I was writing a book and that this was realistically going to be a part of my future. I didn't want to admit it because I was scared it was going to fail, because I was scared of what people were going to think. And like I said, the funny thing is that my family have been surprisingly supportive. My friends have mostly either been like, wow, that's awesome, or they haven't been surprised that this is a path I've gone down. The only person who was surprised in all of this was me. If you're a writer, I'm sure you can relate to this about the fear of people judging your work, of hating it, of nobody buying it, of it failing, and maybe even a little bit of a fear of success. And over the last couple of years, I've really been thinking about how important failure is. And I've really learned a lot about it, both from my body failing on me and me learning what is better for me health-wise and what I need in my life. And also because I run a company as my 9-to-5 job, I've made a lot of mistakes, and believe me, I have learnt some lessons. I have learnt far more from my failures than I ever did from my successes. Sometimes when I succeeded, I didn't even really know why I succeeded. Whereas when I failed, I really learned what did work, what didn't work. Even though it hurt, even though I struggled and suffered in those times, I learned so much more from the times I suffered than from the times it was easy. I've come to believe that the dark times is where the good stuff is. That's where you learn the most about yourself. The dark times are where you learn who you are, what you want, what's worth fighting for, what relationships are worth fighting for, and which ones are worth letting go of. And it's where you learn what step you need to take next. Those things that hurt me sent me down a path less traveled. It lit a fire in me, and I think that now, even if people hate my book, even if nobody buys it, it doesn't matter, because that fire is alive and well, and I'm going to be writing all 6 books of this series even if nobody ever reads it, even if it completely fails, because it's something that I feel compelled to do. I'm not walking away from that dream, even though it chews into my personal time, even though it creates even more work for me. There's a satisfaction in pursuing your dreams and hunting it down relentlessly. And at the end of the day, it's not about the outcome, even though it's cliched. It's about the journey, not the destination. I actually had a conversation with someone recently, and they were like, no, look, the point is that you build up and you sell, and then you build up and you sell, and you continually work until you get to retire, or you get a job where you get enough income and enough benefits, and you work until it's time to retire, and then you live. I don't want to exist so that one day, hopefully, I get to live. I don't want ordinary. Failure taught me this. Suffering taught me this. Nothing will drive you quite like pain and failure and love. Do you fight the pain? Do you try and find an anesthetic for it? But anesthetics always wear off. Or do you fight for your dream and fight for your truth, even though it might hurt and the process might not be what you expected? Do you go after the thing you wanted and pursue it doggedly? I would say the biggest thing I've learned along this journey is you actually hurt your soul more by not doing the thing that calls you on. By ignoring your desire to be creative or to pursue whatever your dream is, you actually hurt yourself more. If it doesn't hurt along the way, you're probably not dreaming big enough. And what I've learned is that if you are willing to suffer in pursuit of a dream, then it is far more satisfying and enriching for your soul and your life than standing still in your misery. Taking the first step in pursuit of your dreams is the hardest part. And it's really easy if you spend a lot of time on Instagram or watching celebrities to think that it's easy, that it should come overnight, and that you might not be deserving, that you might not be beautiful enough, that you might not be thin enough, rich enough, whatever. But often what's happening now is, with the culture of social media, people are making their lives look much more bright and shiny than they actually are. You're not seeing the truth behind it. And often people are making out like they have much, much, much more than they actually have. And often also, in the case of people who are well known or who are living what you perceive to be the dream life, you have no idea how much work and suffering has gone in behind the scenes. Whether you're looking at Instagram or celebrity culture or whatever, the truth is that we kneecap ourselves. Dreams remain dreams unless you do something to make them a reality. Recently, I was walking in the local area, and someone had written in the concrete, and usually people write their initials or something rude or whatever. And in this particular piece of concrete, someone had written, "You don't have to see the whole staircase, you just have to take the first steps." And I thought that is really, really true. And if you are at home and you're not enjoying life, or there's something that's making you unhappy, if you don't change it, if you stand still in that moment, how do you expect it to be any different tomorrow or next week or next month or next year? If you don't like your reality, then Dream yourself a new one and dream it big and beautiful and bright and colorful and as big as you can possibly dream it. You want to see it vividly in your mind. The more detail you can see your dream in and the more time you spend in your dreamscape mentally, the more likely you are to go and pursue it. When you can picture your dream in your mind so vividly that it's almost tangible, you're going to want to touch it. You're going to want to pursue it. So try and take a moment and work out what it is that you really, really want, what your dream looks like, whether it's your dream house, your dream life, your dream job, whatever, and really picture it. Make it so real in your mind that you can almost touch it, so that you have the motivation to go out and be able to touch it, to live that life. If you can see it real enough, you're going to want to have it. And if you want to have it, you're going to go hunt that dream down. So to all the dreamers out there, I hope you can see that there are lots of other people out there in the world who are trying to find a way to make their dream become a reality as well. And that you take solace in the fact that other people struggle along that road as well, because it's not always easy and it shouldn't be easy. If it is easy, the dream is too small. You have to struggle and fight for your dream if it's really worth it. And like I said before, even though it's a cliche, it's about the journey, not the destination. And you might even find when you get to the destination, you have a new dream in sight, and that is amazing. These are the things that drive us and make us better people, make us more interesting, well-rounded people, and make our lives more multifaceted and amazing. And you want to get to the end of your life and be like, damn, I lived, rather than, damn, I wish I'd lived. So I'm going to leave you with some quotes and some words by some people you've probably heard of. Let me know below in the comments if any of the quotes particularly resonated with you. And if you're feeling bold, maybe share your dream, share what you're working towards, whether it's to learn to be an architect, to find a way to clear plastic out of our oceans, to travel into space, whatever it is. Let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to cheer you on and see what you're up to. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Will Smith. You've got to take a shot. You have to live at the edge of your capabilities. You've got to live where you're almost certain you're going to fail. Failure actually helps you to recognize the areas where you need to evolve. So fail early, fail often, fail forward. Oprah. Do the one thing you think you cannot do. Fail at it, try again, do better the second time. The only people who never tumble are those who never mount the high wire. Jared Leto. The bridge between reality and a dream is work. Michelle Obama. Failure is an important part of your growth and developing resilience. Don't be afraid to fail. J.K. Rowling. It is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you have failed by default. Colin Powell. There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. Harriet Tubman. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and change the world. Jesse Owens. We all have dreams, but in order to make dreams come into reality, it takes an awful lot of determination, dedication, self-discipline, and effort. Blessed are those who live their dreams. That's the difference between listening to the knock on the door and going and answering.